I'm Zara Awais Bilal, a solicitor in the child abuse team at Burdon Kemp. For most of our clients, bringing a claim is not just about the compensation. They're usually looking for closure through acknowledgement that what happened to them was wrong. And the first step towards that acknowledgement is an apology.
I'm Dr. Nikki De Taranto, and I'm a psychiatrist who's been involved in assessing the mental health of survivors of childhood sexual abuse for more than 15 years. I've lost count of the amount of times that a survivor has said to me that they want to have an apology for what happened to them. Sometimes they simply say they would like to hear that someone is sorry for what happened. But sometimes they put it in more detailed ways. They talk about wanting to know an explanation of why and how things happened, to be heard and believed, or to feel that it wasn't their fault that the abuse happened.
We often hear our clients talk about the burden they've carried their entire life, thinking that they are in some way to blame for what happened. An apology has the power to shift that burden from the victim to the wrongdoer. This campaign seeks to do just that, by asking the law to recognise the value of an apology to survivors of child abuse.
They've been through an experience in which there's been a huge imbalance of power and in which they have lost control of the situation. And they end up maybe living for many years with feelings of self-doubt, self-blame, and as well as feelings of anger and unhappiness. The element of the admission of responsibility can help to remove the burden the survivor might feel of guilt and self-blame and self-doubt. They're being told it's not your fault. It wasn't something that you did or thought or were that made this happen to you. It's the fault of somebody else.
Today, there is no legal requirement for individual abusers or the organisations that employ them to offer an apology in these cases. And we see defendants rely on that time and time again to refuse our request for an apology. That's not right, and that's why we want to change the law. We're not looking for a new legal remedy because an apology is already available to victims of defamation and discrimination. So the law clearly does recognise the need for an apology in some cases to restore the damage to the victim's reputation and the hurt caused to their dignity. Why then should this right and respect be denied to the victims of some of the most serious crimes committed?
There is good evidence that genuine apologies can have significant therapeutic effects on people. Feeling respected and listened to can have a very important effect on people's sense of well-being and on their self-respect. Feeling that they are not to blame and being told that they were not the one at fault for what happened to them can be very important in removing people's guilt and feelings of self-doubt. And feeling an increased sense of power can be helpful in helping people get rid of anger and resentment that can result from childhood sexual abuse.
We want an apology in abuse claims, and that's why the law has to change. It's that simple. So please, support our campaign to ensure that survivors of abuse get the apology that they deserve.